Welcome to episode 2 of the Down Under FPL talk show. I'm Brandon and this is Russell.
Hey guys, how are we? Welcome back. Welcome to week 2, game week 2. We're approaching. Look, I think before we get stuck in, let's go through our teams.
How'd you go last week, Russ?
Mate, I topped the leaderboard, so happy with that.
In our group, in our league, you topped it. Well, how many points did you get?
I got 84 points. So I'm very happy with that. The average was 57. Originally, I had 82 when the average was 39. And I was like, if everyone can stay at that, that'd be great.
After that Friday, Saturday couple games, Russell's on 71 points. And I put that Tik Tok up there of him walking into work on Monday because he had Salah, captain, he had Saka, and he had Haaland all fit in his team. And it just all worked out really well. And he had Jota as well, and Trent. So he just nailed game week 1. But
it's all downhill from here, guys. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Don't listen to me anymore.
It's all going to be crazy from here. But look, it's a long season. He did really well. He started well. Where are you ranked at the moment?
I think, where was it, 2,000?
150.
Oh, in overall, I'm 152,756.
That's a great start.
In Australia, 2,649. So I'm happy with that.
Overall, doing really well. He's in a good position, starting from game week 1. So kudos to you, Russ.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I got 50 this week. And I just had a look and the average was 57. So just below average this week. I didn't go with Salah or Saka in my team. I actually went with KDB and also went with Odegaard in my team. So look, at the end of the day, the City boys ended up saving my game week, which I was very glad about. Thank you, Pep. I made the call.
And in case some of you, I guess, didn't really see my squad, yes, it's true. I bought in Haaland.
He did bring in Haaland. He caved at the end of the day. So he finally made a good decision, whereas I didn't take Salah, so I made a terrible decision out of all that. But that's fine. At the end of the day, it's a long season. We got 37 more game weeks to go. And I just think that the picks that I got right now, coming into this game week, I'm feeling pretty good. So what's going to be your team at the moment for this week?
My team for the moment, I'm pretty much going to drop anyone from Brentford, which I've got Carvalho. I don't think he'll start, but I think I've just got to be smart in terms of who I make my transfer, because I'm going to use that one transfer for this week just to probably maybe take out Anderson. Who's playing against West Ham.
Okay. Just to play them this week?
Yeah. Or even as a just straight transfer out, I might take out João Pedro and then try and find one of those gem 5.5 strikers. I mean, Danny Welbeck loves scoring, so...
Danny Welbeck had a big week as well. He scored 2 goals, got the 3 bonus points as well. I think this week I'm probably going to be rolling my transfer, potentially. I've got Kwanzaa in my team, and like many other Kwanzaa owners, we were sitting there at halftime wondering what the hell is going on. Is he injured? Is he hurt?
What's going on?
But unfortunately, Slot just made a quick decision. I think that's a lesson for any, young Liverpool assets that we may own, is that he's going to change anyone at any given time, regardless of how they're performing.
Yeah, I think, and that's what it is. Slot is just going to pick purely on performance and who he thinks is performing at the time. Don't be surprised if Salah's having an absolute horror show against Brentford, that he'll get subbed, I reckon.
I think he'll go all right. Yeah. I think he'll be okay.
Oh,
but
I hope so.
It'll be interesting to see, obviously, with Kanate and Kwanzaa who starts. But if I am going to transfer, it would probably be Kwanzaa to potentially either a Chelsea centre-back or to Konsa from Aston Villa. Yeah. I've already got Robinson in my team. I think if you have Kwanzaa, then Robinson is a great replacement from Fulham. Especially for this week. He was actually in the bonus points before United scored that goal.
Yeah.
So he was going to get a clean sheet and a bonus point, and at that 86th or 87th minute, then they finally scored.
Yeah, it's a rough one. But look, there's definitely some gems out there. So I guess trust your gut in who you're going to pick.
That's right. But you might be able to pick a few out of this. Might be able to pick a few out of this podcast. That's what we're going to talk about today. Just some really good picks for this week and potentially moving forward. But even with my squad, I've got 3 City players. I've got Guardiola, I've got Haaland, captain, and then I've also got KDB. So against Ipswich Town, I'm feeling pretty good.
It's definitely the right time to have Manchester City players, I think, playing against Ipswich. But you just got to be careful because we know what Pep's like. Pep likes to rotate. So
Pep rotation. I'm confident that he won't rotate KDB. He'll keep Guardiola and Haaland playing. I'm confident. He played KDB 90 minutes in game week 1, so I'm backing my gut with them and going with them. And I feel like my planning was all around game weeks 2 to 5 as being able to have good weeks. And these Manchester City players, I guess, when many teams out there probably don't have many, only probably Haaland. I was hoping to capitalise on a couple City players.
I still love how Guardiola has come out and said, I'm not focused on the 5th Premier League title. Like that. That's not my focus. And I'm just thinking, don't you play mind games with us? Like, get out of our heads. Stop that.
He's just saying it's such a long season. He's almost saying, like, we'll just be there anyway. Yeah. We know we're going to be there at the end. Yeah. So I'll talk to you about it in 30 game weeks when it's all relevant.
Pretty much.
Okay, so we're focusing on this week in terms of the great picks. So first game, we've got Brighton versus Manchester United. Who have you got, Russ, as a great pick?
Look, I think Danny Welbeck, I said just earlier, he's 5.5 mil. He's scored 12 points. He's played against United. He's played for United. He's scored against them. I think he loves this fixture as close as it is to his heart. I think he'll go well. So what about yourself?
Yeah, this game, I think United are probably going to still keep rolling with the momentum. Brighton potentially will definitely get a goal. They've been pretty good defensively, Brighton. And so if you own any Brighton assets in week 1, you were laughing to the bank because Everton just sucked. Overall, they struggled big time. But to be fair, Brighton were class. Yeah.
If you had Barco, maybe not.
Yeah, Barco, we know that, he's not going to get the minutes, and it looks like they've gone out and signed someone else as well.
Yep.
So he's definitely not going to get the minutes. So he's going to be $4 million sitting in everyone's team waiting for everyone to wildcard to get him out when we're there. Because there's no point just forcing your team to transfer him out. But in terms of pick this week, I think overall, Bruno's still probably a good pick if you've got him. In terms of where the goals are going to come from, Xerxes has just showed that he can perform on debut.
I'm not a Man U fan, but geez, man, I'm a Xerxes fan. Like I've known him of Xerxes since he was at the Bayern Munich Academy, and coming through there, thanks FIFA. But like even just watching him play, he's just a natural poacher. Like I think he's just going to be there, just getting a foot to anything. So. And I think one person who's probably going to be looking to provide more of those sort of balls that he can just get the toe onto is also Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui is at 4.5 million. So
he's the most traded in this week.
Yeah. So
everyone's jumping the gun there. Now, obviously, Luke Shaw is going to return in the next 2 weeks. Very interesting to see what they do with the rotation with Mazraoui, Luke Shaw, and Dallo. Yeah. With how they're going to get that going, because they've obviously lost Wan-Bissaka to West Ham. So, look, I think with the fixtures coming up, he's a great pick if you want to get him now, but this is just, I think, a bit of a panic from a lot of managers looking to transfer players out to just chase last week's points. And if there's anything I've learned in fantasy sports is never chase last week's points because it will disappoint you. So many people have traded in either Saka or Salah this week. They're just good trades in general. But some of the other ones that they've traded in where there's just big scores, you get burnt this week and you're just disappointed. It ruins your weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of that, there's other ones. Obviously, you've got Minima. You've got Minte as well.
Yeah, he was on fire.
Absolutely. Like, he's just so electric when he moves around. He only played 45 minutes, though. So how it works with their rotation, who knows? João Pedro played 82 minutes. He's on penalties as well. But, again, when Ferguson comes back, how does that look like with the squad? Once their fixtures clear up a little bit, I think Brighton are going to have some goals in them.
Yeah, no doubt. They're definitely a very attack-threatening team. I think if you're the Man U defense, you're working on how tight you stay because you have to stay tight to just cut out that inside, then back outside ball. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to play it in for Pedro and then try and play it through the line behind the defense for either Minima or Minte if he starts.
Definitely, and you're adding Gara as well. That's there, so they've got options, especially on the flanks. Into the next game, Crystal Palace versus West Ham. Who are your picks for this game?
I have actually gone and looked at Eze. He's just exciting, and he's got bags and bags of goals in him. He's just going to continue carrying in form, even if he doesn't score. He'll cut it straight across goal, Mateta, he had a quiet week. He's going to be there to finish up. So I think Eze will come in, Mateta even potentially. For West Ham, obviously Fulkrug made his debut. But I think this is Souček's game. I think this one, like Souček, is going to be the heart of that midfield, I hope. So
He played 90 minutes.
Yep.
Ward-Prowse only played 16 minutes.
And it's quite cheap too. It's a
5
5
mil.
5 mil. So I might even look at Carvalho trading out and putting in Souček. So.
Never a bad idea. He's playing a bit more an advanced role. And if you look at his XG in terms of goals, he actually should have scored 2 goals almost based on what he was there. But I think even with Palace, like Eze got that disallowed goal against Brentford because of the foul pulled up before, and he hit a banger of a free kick.
Oh, it was insane, wasn't it?
So a lot of Eze owners, there's a lot of people trading him out. It was almost over 70,000 people trading him out.
Yeah. And
insane.
It's one of those ones where you just want to hold your players who performed last year. Yes, you never know if they're going to continue, but sometimes just hold on to it. Like, don't just go gun-ho and jump the gun.
It's 38 game weeks. It's a year, like almost the whole season where we're looking at this. This isn't like a 10-round competition, so just hold him. That's why I've got KDB and Odegaard in my team, and I'm just holding for now because you can't predict who's going to score, regardless of who you think it is, and all of a sudden how a team's going to play. So these guys can perform this week, and everything's all washed out. Yeah. It's all evened out in the end.
Absolutely.
In terms of, I guess, at Crystal Palace, I like Mateta as well, even this week. Duran scored against West Ham last week. Mateta is just a bit of a goal scorer, 7.5 million. After this week as well, then Crystal Palace go on to play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We're still conceding goals. Then they play Leicester, and then they go on to play Manchester United. So, look, I think Crystal Palace can score goals. They've got goals in them. And Mateta's going to be their main man.
Absolutely. And I think you're looking at the West Ham fixtures as well. They've got Crystal Palace, and yes, they play Manchester City next week, all right? But that's what your benches are for. But then they've got Fulham, then they've got the London Derby, Chelsea, and then they've got Brentford and Ipswich. So I think
they've got some fixtures.
Yeah, they've got some good fixtures there, which might favour their midfield.
And if you've got the rotation like we were speaking about last week, then you'll be able to just rotate players in and out. So that's good. Okay, in terms of for West Ham, I think in terms of picks, there's not too much going on. Like, you're always keeping an eye on Jared Bowen. He's very attacking-minded with how he played. But first game, coming back, who else is there? You've also got, obviously, Souček. Looking at the way with West Ham that they played, they were still conceding goals even with that lineup. So I'd wait a couple of weeks just to figure out, like, no defenders.
Yeah.
Until you really start to see them be really solid.
Yeah, and Tadibo came on in the back end of the second half as well.
Yep.
So he made his debut. Looking forward to hopefully seeing more of him. And I think if he starts with, is it Kilman that plays for West Ham?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those two together might actually be like quite a powerhouse. So
quite solid. Well, hopefully they will.
We'll wait and see, obviously, what football has in store.
Fulham versus Leicester. Fulham lost 1-0 over to Manchester United in the first game of the week. And then Leicester drew this morning up against Tottenham. They came out in the second half and played like lights on fire, and Tottenham just went into their shell. Jamie Vardy bagged a goal. Also, as well, we had Fatawu. They got the assist as well. So, look, they looked a bit more exciting, I guess, Leicester in the second half. They took it to Tottenham.
Yeah. And, look, despite Pedro Porro even scoring, which good work to all those coaches out there who selected him game week 1.
Got 9 points out of him.
It was a very high percentage that had him. So, I think despite that, Tottenham, they're just lacking something.
They got Solanke, but I think they're just lacking a little bit of, how do we say, like that finisher, that polish. Like when you look at City play or Arsenal play, they just look a little bit more clinical and composed in those front moments. Like in the first half, Tottenham had so much possession, and I'm pretty sure they almost have it around 10 shots on 10 shots, right? They had heaps.
Even in the first 15 minutes, I'm pretty sure they had like 4 shots on target, and it was actually like really, really good.
And they should have got 2 or 3 goals in the first half. Now, Solanke blanked. I've got him in my side. I'm holding this week against Everton. I do feel like he can hit back again, but we'll get to that when we go for the Tottenham game. In terms of Fulham picks, Muniz, I think he's a good target for this week. You've also got Andreas Pereira, Smith Rowe.
Yeah, Smith Rowe, definitely.
Robinson as well. He'll be starting in my side this week. against Leicester. Look, Leicester, I don't think are going to keep too many clean sheets, especially with the amount of possession that they're willing to give up. I think this might be a bit more even, but there's goals in it.
Oh, 100%. And I guess you look at the goal creators for Leicester, obviously, Jamie Vardy, he just doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. And then you've got Fatawu as well. He got an assist in the goal, I think.
Assist. So he had an assist to Jamie Vardy. Great cross. So he's played 90 minutes as well.
Yeah.
So look, we've got $5.5 million for both of them. And I think in this fixture, if you were to get a Vardy or a Fatawu this week, Leicester have not bad fixtures.
Yeah.
Because next week they go into playing Villa. Then after that, they go into playing Crystal Palace. So if you wanted to go for some more attacking midfielders that can score goals, you'd be wanting to go one of the two.
Yeah, and then you make a little bit of bank on them. So then that way you've got money to potentially splurge on the big guns when you need it.
When you need it, definitely. So there's options. I wouldn't be touching any real defenders or anything like that. I think Antoine Robinson from Fulham's probably the best. He's got some good fixtures and good rotations with your next centre-back if you're going to have them there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess Manchester City versus Ipswich. So Manchester City, like they done all right against Chelsea. Like it was a fairly even game, but you can tell that there's just a certain finesse that Man City have about them. You know, like Haaland is just looking scary, and I think he's just going to want to continue that form. So,
and many people wanted Haaland to blank in the first week, but he just showed his class, like that he's always in the game, he's always there, he's always going to be popping up, scoring goals, and if you don't own him, I think it's a massive mistake in FPL because you got to find an extra. If you're at Ollie Watkins, for example, you got to find an extra $6 million to get to Haaland.
Yeah,
you know that's just from the highest second highest striker in terms of price. You just want to take him, especially this game week. And I guess with how City played against Chelsea, like you said, it was very composed, very in control. It looked like they never really got out of third gear as a team. Look, Chelsea definitely had possession and they got chances, but it just showed the difference in the teams in the box. In the box is where it mattered.
Yeah.
And even Kovacic with the goal here from outside the box.
Oh,
class.
He's unreal.
Class. So,
and the way they move the ball and hold it up when they need to and just draw teams out to them as well.
Even fantastic. Defensively, they were strong. So, and Doku created havoc down that edge. Savino created havoc for Cucurella.
And then he had to get subbed off, didn't he?
He did, and all of a sudden then Foden comes on. So you get almost a like-for-like replacement. But I'm pretty sure Doku started on the right side at the beginning of the game, and then Savino was on the left, and within the first kind of 15, 20 minutes, they switched. Yeah. And then it changed the actual appearance.
I think you'll find that they'll just constantly change left to right.
Definitely.
The whole entire year.
Well, Pep came out and said that he thought he wanted his wingers to be more direct in the way that they towards the box. Yeah. Because both of them, like Doku's a left-sided player and Savino's a right-sided player, but he wanted them to go more so down directly towards the box. But he came out and said that he understood that both players also need to be comfortable with how they're playing. So he moved them back over to where they're favoured in their position. So I think Doku's a great pick this week against Ipswich. You spoke about it last week that with his speed, he might absolutely tear them up.
It's just nightmares for any defender, I think. I think you look at Sadio Mane when he was in the Premier League, Doku is very much similar in the way that he just glides past defenders.
Definitely. You got Bernardo Silva at 6.5 mil as well, so he had a really good game, got an assist. There's talks of Gundogan coming back to Barcelona, so how that affects that kind of in the future, we'll see. But he's another good purchase. KDB played 90 minutes. Foden played 45 off the bench. So, he played, I think it was 40. He came off at half-time. He come on.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, I'm hoping big things from Gvardiol, KDB, and Haaland this week. I've got the captaincy on Haaland.
Yeah. Look, I definitely think it's a smart move because it's probably a game where he'll get a hat-trick. But at the same time, we do know Pep to just get there like, let's just take Haaland out for a half.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Hopefully not. Otherwise...
Who's their striker to replace him?
Well,
because Alvarez is gone.
Yeah, but you could also play Doku as the striker.
You could.
As well.
I don't think he's going to do it.
Probably not.
In terms of Ipswich, there's not much going on. Davis is someone that I guess we've looked at. He's obviously getting forward. Even in the Liverpool game, he got forward. but he was a bit exposed at the back when Trent and Salah all combined in that goal. He got caught out, but I think that's just experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a definitely big check on what they're going to come up against. But Ipswich weren't shy of creations, though, in that Liverpool game. And if Man City just underestimate it, then you might end up finding that Ipswich will get a couple of shots on target. So
Maybe.
And Edison against Chelsea fumbled a couple.
Looked a bit shaky. Made a great save on Jackson's volley inside there, where Jackson just hit it straight at the keeper.
Oh, mate. How do you not find a left or right there?
It's disappointing. So, look, I think Manchester City will do really well this game. They'll control the bulk of possession. I can see them putting at least 3-4 goals past Ipswich, just purely breaking them down over 90 minutes. Liverpool started slow in the first half. Otherwise, if they started strong, they probably would have put 4 goals against Ipswich. So I think City a little bit more just composed, a little bit more, just under control. They'll get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So moving on to Southampton, Nottingham Forest.
Have you got any picks for this game, Russ?
I do. I have Aribo for Southampton. He's their midfielder who he likes getting forward. He likes taking chances on the edge of the box, but also likes just trying to find those little balls in behind the defence. So, and for someone like Brereton Diaz who loves his theatrics, I think we can all agree that Sharp, whilst he, made the contact there, it was just all theatrics.
It was all theatrics. And there's got to be...
It's disgusting.
It was a bit soft at the end of the day. I was disappointed to see him get sent off, Fabian Schär, especially for something like that. I understand the whole headbutts, but you look at other sports. There's headbutts going on left, right and centre. Just get on with the game. It's all about the spectacle, the entertainment.
Absolutely.
I think the ref just wanted to put his stamp on the game and just say, no, this is my control of the game.
Yeah.
And it made it really disappointing. But credit to Newcastle, they won the game.
Yeah,
1-0.
absolutely. They
10
dug
men.
in. And Joel Linton, he proved a couple of times last year just how clutch he can be.
Definitely.
Especially when he was meant to be on his way out at the start of last year.
Definitely. So he's happy. With Southampton, there's not much to talk too much about there. You've got Nottingham Forest. Now, Chris Wood delivered for you.
Chris Wood.
Great pick that we spoke about last week. He's just, I think, a clinical-based striker that knows to be in the right place at the right time.
The New Zealand god.
God,
he's now the New Zealand god. That's what I'm doubling him as. I'm going to stick with that. He's just insane.
Chris, the Big Wood, the man.
The Big Wood.
The big man. Okay, so in terms of Nottingham Forest as well, there was Morgan Gibbs-White had a bit of a quieter game. Forest's defence was pretty good. I thought they had a good defensive clash, which means if you're looking at someone like a Nico Williams, potentially in the future, might be able to keep some clean sheets.
Did Arojo make his debut?
Yeah, for Bournemouth he did. He only played 27 minutes off the bench. But in terms of for Forest, Aina got injured, I believe. He got up to knock, and a lot of people had Aina in their team. And we look at, obviously, Hudson-Odoi and Alunga, so they had a bit of a quieter game. But
there's definitely a lot to come from
Nottingham Forest this year.
Yeah, and they're going to have bags of goals too. Like Chris Wood's just, even though he gets older, he just still continues to find form. Because what's he now, 31?
No idea, Russ. He's Chris the God.
Chris the God. He doesn't age.
He doesn't age, Chris the God. But in terms of Forest, this is a great clash for them. I think, like I said, your Hudson-Odois and your Alungas are great picks, as well as your Gibbs-White and your Chris Wood. So take your pick. Tottenham versus Everton. Spurs were just disappointing in the second half of the game. They should have had at least 2 to 3 goals in the first half alone with the amount of chances they had. Dom Solanke blanked. I think he's a hold for this week while we reassess because Everton weren't that great either. And I think playing at home, Tottenham are going to be up for it big time.
Yeah. And
they're going to want to, Ange will be revving them to put up a performance.
Absolutely. And I think, look, I also don't mind Brendan Johnson as well. Yep. Like he's there and he's ready. He's looking quick. He's looking sharp. Even just on the ball, he looks a little bit more solid. So I think, Ange is going to essentially rip him a new one and say, pull your finger out of your ass and let's get cracking.
Definitely. So. Well, Sonny had a quiet game overall, but I expect him to bounce back. All these guys bounce back at some stage. Solanke had a couple opportunities. I think he'll just get better for the run. Unfortunately, in the second half, which was fortunate for Leicester, Spurs went into their shell, and all of a sudden they just started turning over possession, turning over the ball, and giving Leicester chances, and Leicester got the goal back. And Vardy had another chance in that game to win it.
Yeah.
He had a clear one-on-one with the keeper, and then, Vicario made a great save to his left.
Yeah.
And
he's very good. And I think, look, I think if there's going to be a clean sheet this week, it's going to be from Tottenham.
I think so.
Or what we'll cover later, Chelsea.
Definitely, I think so. So, there's some good picks there. James Maddison got an assist for the Pedro Porro goal. I think Pedro Porro is a great pick this week as well. Any Spurs kind of defender, I don't see them conceding more than a goal at most.
Yeah, and I think Tottenham's fixtures aren't looking too bad either, are they?
They go into a bit of a run over next week, which is a bit harder. They play Newcastle United next week.
Yep.
Then they play Arsenal. So they've got two really difficult fixtures, which I wouldn't be probably touching any defenders from those.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
But when you get a striker like Solanke, you don't necessarily have to get rid of him because it's a striker. Like,
just put him on your bench.
Goals have got to come from somewhere.
Yep.
So you can even play him in those games and maybe get lucky. Might jag one, especially against Newcastle.
Yep.
Okay. Not much to talk about with Everton. I think they're struggling with the FFP, and
I think they lost. Was it Anana? No.
Anana went to West Ham. Sorry, Aston Villa.
Yeah, it wasn't Anana. Yeah, it went to Villa. So since they lost him, they just don't have that, I guess, holding player to set the structure for them, or even just transition through to that final third as well. So
yeah, it's a concern.
If anyone, like, I think maybe Jack Harrison, he's actually quite good. It just depends whether or not he can get into space. So,
and when you concede 3 goals on opening game week, the red alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah,
because you're conceding against obviously Brighton, which are a good side, but they're not top big 5, big 6 teams. So
absolutely.
For Tottenham going to Spurs this week, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Next game, Aston Villa versus Arsenal. I think this is going to be the match of the round.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's going to be a very good game. We actually earmarked that Aston Villa might not actually go well, but look at the way they performed against West Ham, and it's going to be fantastic. I think Unai Emery is very, very smart and very methodic in the way that he goes about training his teams. So, and just look at who he's managed and how many finals he's been. Yes, he might not have managed to win a lot of those finals, but there's definitely a method to his madness. So.
Playing at home as well, Aston Villa against Arsenal. This is going to be a very, very big ask. They beat them twice last year, so they have the wood over them. Yeah. But at the same time, I think Arteta and Arsenal will be a lot smarter this year in terms of tactical. So I think it's going to be really close in terms of a game. I do think it's going to be decided by 1 goal in the mix of it, whether it's a 1-0 or it's a 2-1 or a 1-1 draw. So we'll see. But overall, obviously, predicted the bust of the week, Ollie Watkins, last week.
Watkins did not have a good game at all.
Which, no preseason, so he didn't have that. He also didn't have any shots in that game, so he didn't actually shoot the ball. But he will bounce back. After this week, Villa actually have some really good fixtures. They play Leicester, then they go straight into Everton, then they go straight into Wolves, and then they go straight into Ipswich.
Yeah, so definitely a good idea to hold on to your Aston Villa players, even your defenders. Start looking at potentially getting one of them in.
Potentially, yeah, if they can hold clean sheets. So I think the targets for Aston Villa are Bailey, $6.5 million.
Yep.
Ollie Watkins will be at $9 million. Rogers at $5 million.
Oh, Rogers, he's going to be insane.
He played 90 minutes.
Watch some of his game highlights, and my God, he's a good lad.
He's very good. So I think after this weekend, we'll get a better indication, but we'll also know and see that they've got some good fixtures coming up. So if you've got your Villa assets, just hold them. Hold them. Don't play them this week. Just hold them.
Yeah, hold on to them.
Case with Arsenal?
Arsenal. Look, I'm going Saka again. I'm on the verge at the moment of potentially even keeping Saka as captain, even though Haaland potentially could get this hat trick. I don't know. Saka's just looking on point for everything that he does. So, but I don't know. It's a long week, and
wait and see.
And last week I said that I wouldn't pick Haaland.
And then you did, so you changed your mind. You're a back flipper.
Yeah.
Back flipper. So, yes, I think Arsenal, they're going to be really strong defensively in this game. I think if they do concede a goal, it's to Aston Villa's credit. They've worked hard to get it. Yeah. But where Villa conceded a goal is offset pieces, brings in Gabriel. That brings in a few, like Havertz. That brings in a couple of your aerial specialists.
Saliba. He'll be key. Even like just those defensive battles. I think Saliba's just going to be dominant.
Definitely.
Very dominant.
Be a great game if you're there to watch. So that's, I think, we match the round. Hopefully, Odegaard can get an assist or a goal. He can turn up for me this week. But if he doesn't, that's okay.
I wouldn't be playing Emi Martinez in goal either.
No, definitely not this week.
He will make saves, but he will also let goals
Definitely
in.
not.
So
Okay, so Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Newcastle won with 10 men after defending for 70 minutes. Isak got the assist. He gave us something.
Yeah.
Considering that he wasn't going to be able to give us anything. Unfortunately for Jacob Murphy, it was in my side. He got substituted at the 30th minute because Fabian Schär got the red card. The fact that he started is obviously a really good sign. I'm going to keep him one more week just to see because I think he's got assists and he's got goals in him.
Yeah, and look, they don't have a bad run either. Like, they have Tottenham next week.
They're conceding goals.
Yeah, they can concede goals. So, and then they've got Wolves and Fulham. And then probably around game week 6, you might not want to play them in your starting 11 because they have Manchester City. But again, Newcastle are proving to be a team that can definitely battle it for
90 minutes.
Top and for 90 minutes. So Eddie Howe is a very switched-on man, which is why he was in contention for that England job, and I think the US men's team too. So
I think Potter's got that now.
Yep. So,
but in terms of, I guess, for this year, I think Newcastle will win. I'm not sure they'll keep a clean sheet in this game. I think Bournemouth sometimes squeeze a goal. Bournemouth at home. Yeah. But in saying that, we could be wrong. This could be the game that, again, Newcastle are able to keep a clean sheet because Bournemouth only scored 1 goal. And at times, they really struggled to get anything going in that Forest game.
Yeah.
Because Forest pretty much had most of the ball. But I think with Bournemouth, they've got a new striker that is coming.
They do. They brought in Van Linson from FC Porto. So for any coaches out there looking for a new striker, keep your eye out for when he comes on the market because he will be a very good striker and I think a good fit to the Premier League. So it just depends on price. I think he might end up probably being 6 mil.
Yeah, which we'd hope not. I think
hope for 5.5.
Yeah,
and if it's 6.5 or 7, it's criminal, and we riot. No.
Semenyo was 5.5 mil. He had a great game. He scored the goal.
Fantastic.
And he's in the midfield as well, so it's something to keep an eye on. I think there's other picks out there because if Evangelson comes in, then Semenyo will probably drop back to the midfield potentially.
Yeah.
Or to the bench. Who knows? But yeah, not too much to focus on there. Next game will be Wolves versus Chelsea at Wolves' home ground. Wolves lost 2-0 to Arsenal, and they played okay. I didn't think they were all that bad.
Yeah, no.
Played all right. Arsenal had to work for the goals.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, Ayat Nuri actually held his own because I think he ended up being on the same side as Saka at one point too.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I think so. But the main thing is just that Wolves are never easy beats at times. They had a couple shots. Rye made a few good saves as well. Kind of kept them from kept the clean sheet for all of us.
And even Neto actually done well in making a couple of big saves against Arsenal too.
He did. So there was a couple there. The main Jose Sarr.
Yeah, Jose Sarr.
But he also made a bit of a blunder with the Havertz.
Yes.
With the Havertz goal, kind of coming out, he just never got to it.
Yeah.
Look, I think Wolves, their chance of scoring a goal this game, He-Chan is someone I'm looking at.
Yep.
I think He-Chan is where the goals are.
Yeah, He-Chan he's a very good player. He's very versatile because he's not just your man who you can stick up top, play to his feet, but he can come back into the line and then he can distribute it out wide for the wingers and everything as well. So, He-Chan is definitely someone to just keep an eye on.
Definitely.
And watch how Wolves play because, I did predict him to get relegated, but you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Who knows? I think he's up against Gusto this week. I thought Gusto did a good job against Doku. He did a decent job. It's a hard job to do. So with Chelsea, we played a much better possession-based game. I found that we were able to at least get 50% of the ball throughout the game. The issue is, again, the composure in the final third with Jackson and Kunku. Palmer got one shot from outside the box, but just Jackson had 2 massive opportunities to score a goal. If he converts one of those and we're 1-1, I think the game's on.
Yeah.
But the issue was, again, it's just lacking those finishing touches. And with all the 45 players that we've got on our roster, it would be good if we could actually go and buy a genuine striker that could actually just finish really well, rather than maybe sell the other 15 players and go spend that 300 mil on, a striker.
Well, from what I hear is Osimhen is very close to potentially coming to Chelsea. Maybe.
But it's a lot of money, isn't it?
Absolutely. But, you guys are going to sell Lukaku to Napoli.
Napoli.
So. But it's not a straight swap deal from our man Fabrizio. He's been saying that they're two separate deals. So I think
Osimhen will be 100 plus mil.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Lukaku will be 30 mil or something, 35 mil.
And where was Osimhen before Napoli?
Not too sure. But I think
interesting how he would deal with the Premier League, whether or not he ends up being similar to Lukaku in a chance where he may score goals, but he's not going to be as prolific as what he is in Serie A.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. All I know is Osimhen won't come to probably any other Premier League Big Six club because they've all got their strikers, but there is a spot there for Chelsea. Obviously, João Felix is going to be returning.
Yep.
Where he plays, where they play him as more of a 10.
Yeah, so maybe even with Felix, maybe you wouldn't bring in Osimhen because you've got Nkunku who can play as a 9.
Yeah, unless they're going to change formation and maybe play. I think they played obviously like a 4-2-3-1.
Yep.
Labia was outstanding. He was really good. I was very impressed with him. We really needed him. Enzo playing as like the 8 up into the 10 was disappointing. I actually think that he needs to probably be replaced. Yeah. I would rather have put Nkunku in that position or play Palmer in that position and play Neto and Nkunku on the edge and the flanks.
Yep.
So we just have a bit more solidity. But giving Enzo the captaincy was a terrible choice as well. I don't think that's a good thing based on his off-season shambles.
To be honest, surely you put one of your defenders as a captain. Colwill, while he's young, he's a presence, I think.
And we need a goalkeeper. Sanchez has just shown me that he was solid at Brighton, but at the same time we need a proper shot stopper.
Yeah,
that can stop goals.
So I think you guys brought in Pekovic, didn't you?
We bought in another Jorgensen or whatever it is.
Jorgensen. Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes with the goalkeepers. But this week, I'm hopeful of a clean sheet. There potentially is a chance, but I'm fearful of guys like He-Chan and obviously they've even got Larson there that got a shot on target as well against Arsenal. That might jag a goal. And Lamina just pops up sometimes and gets a goal.
And Fabio Silva, if he comes on and
Cunha
looks impressive. So, Cunha.
So they got that. So we'll see. But in terms of Chelsea assets, I think Nkunku only got 57 minutes. Got substituted for Neto. If you're with Nkunku, I'll just hold him at the moment. I think once Pedro Neto properly starts, which he will most games, I think Nkunku's going to move into more of a central role as a 10 or as a 9.
Yep.
You know, they go. And Palmer was on the right-hand side. I think if you got Cole Palmer, he wasn't in the game enough against City because he was so far wide.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find a way to get him in the game more because he's used to playing as a right midfielder because he was at City, he played right wing, right midfielder. But in Chelsea, we're not a Manchester City.
Yeah, no.
So he needs to be in the action.
Yeah.
Which I think he needs to be more central.
Yeah.
Playing as a 10. Maybe play 2 10s, play your Nkunku and Palmer.
Very true.
Maybe, who knows? But Jackson might be a decent asset. He might actually score this week. Who knows?
Wait and see, I guess.
I think it's just depending. Like the 2 centre-backs from Chelsea, Fofana and Colwill, they are solid options for the run coming up. I do think with a possession style of play, if we can just get our defence right, there are clean sheets there. But let's wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see. It's game week 2, so
who knows?
Who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows? Okay, so last game, it will be Liverpool versus Brentford at Anfield. What do you think, Ross?
Look, I think Liverpool had a rough first half, right? We said it before, Kwanzaa, he won aerial battles, but he didn't win the aerial battles, which then resulted in the controlling of a ball afterwards. He just made the win, got it out for a throw-in, or even just got out of the danger area. And I think Brentford could definitely capitalise with an early goal and then potentially put Liverpool behind in Anfield. I'm not saying I love my Liverpool boys, but again, it's a new era. We'll wait and see. I think if Konate starts with Virgil van Dijk, it'll be completely different.
Definitely.
So Konate is just an insane presence. He brings this calm and this I guess mellowness. Like people just get so relaxed with him being there. So I think Szoboszlai as well. They get the ball to him and they give him the service. He will then return the service back to the striker or winger. So.
It'll be interesting to see. You got Jota, obviously, that played 78 minutes. I think he's their main up front player. Yep. With Darwin coming off the bench. Darwin didn't even get on the pitch.
Yeah.
So we'll see this weekend against Brentford. Hopeful that, again, Jota starts. He scored a goal. You know, he did really well. Delivered a return. Salah scored a goal. Delivered again. 14 points for him.
Highest of all the players this year.
Had him in my side all pre-season, and he, I took him out. Idiot. So at the end of the day, look, at the end of the day, it's all done now. But I just think this week, I definitely think Liverpool can get the win. It's just a matter, like obviously with Brentford, you got Wisa, you've got Mbeumo.
Yeah.
Mbeumo's on pens.
Yeah, you got Janelt as well. Who can just provide like a really good ball through that middle. Even their back line. Who was their back line? Drawing blanks here.
Yeah, but it's just like sometimes Liverpool have those rusted, that shaky defence. I think Canate and Virgil next to each other are probably better. And obviously you got Tsimikas and Robinson, and then you got Trent and Bradley.
Yep.
So they've got good depth as a squad, Liverpool, especially with who they bring on. I think they can definitely get the win at home. If not, it'll be a draw.
Yeah. And look, I think a draw, Brentford will be very happy with.
Very happy with the draw.
Very happy with, because Liverpool have a lot of quality. Like, we have so much quality there, and everyone is screaming for a signing, which, yes, we may need one, but
who is it going to be?
Don't take away from the fact that there is a very good squad there. There's a very good and strong squad. They just need to get working together and fix up the little things in their defensive plays.
Definitely. And some guy like Quansah, he'll get better for the run. He probably may start this week, may not. But I think if I'm going to keep my transfer and play Robinson, I'll just wait and see. But if I get any whispers and hearing that his price is going to drop before match week begins, I'll get rid of him for someone, just so then I don't lose that 0.1 in the transfer budget, because that will really hurt when I need a wild card. Especially coming game week 6, which is most people are going to wild card around then.
Yeah, and we've had a couple of comments on our TikTok, and some people are like, "Oh, this is my first year. What should I do?" Sometimes you just got to trust your gut, but at the same time, like, don't use your wild card too early. Like, don't use it in the first 6 to 8.
And don't burn any extra transfers.
Yes.
Don't take hits. Don't take -4s. Just stick with the process, because you honestly cannot predict who's going to score this week, as much as you would love to.
Yeah. As much as we get there and we say, "Oh, Eze's great. Semenyo's also fantastic. Saka, he's going to be sublime." Mate, they could just rock up and have an absolute honker of a time.
They could, and look at someone like Solanke did that this morning. So. Just didn't quite get an opportunity, same as Ollie Watkins, all these guys. So, look, I think with Brentford, you had Wisa in your preseason side all
I did.
Long, 5.5 million. And it looks like he's going to be starting every week now, because Thomas Frank's come out and said that Ivan Toney's pretty much going to get sold.
Yeah.
So there's only one guy, Wisa.
Yeah. And look, I think even after this week, how's Brentford's
fixtures? Brentford play Southampton.
Yeah.
Great fixture next week. And then they go into playing Manchester City.
Yep. And then Tottenham, West Ham. So, look, I'd probably...
this week and next week.
Yeah. I'd probably even wait till that game week 6, game week 7. Maybe when I use my wild card, I might bring him in. But in saying that, every game that Brentford plays, he's probably going to score, pop up a goal, or he'll be in and around the action. So, Wisa could be someone that you just maybe keep on your bench, and if you've got a good feeling about him, maybe sub him in. I don't know why I got rid of him. Because,
it didn't take long for Mbeumo to get the goal, my baller of the week. So, I got that prediction right as well this week. 2 from 2, baller and bust. Mbeumo is on pens as well. Hit 7 million. He's a great pickup. I think you can even play him this week against Liverpool. He's a chance. He's just got that speed. He just pops up and he knows how to score goals. So Going to Southampton next week is a good asset to own as well. I didn't pick him up. He scored 9 points. I didn't take him, just purely on a budget transfer on the price. But I do think that now that he's on pens permanently, because Tony's not there, I think he scores a bit more goals this year. So I might look at him potentially even as early as next week, depending on how they go this week. But other than that, with Brentford, there's not much else to kind of look at. I think that they're going to be a team. They're going to be very competitive. They'll still win more games than they'll lose, I think. And they'll probably come around that mid-table just above.
Yeah. I reckon they'll definitely get a good couple of just draws in there against maybe some of the bigger teams. Like they can definitely do it against Liverpool. I've got no doubt they could probably do it against Manchester City because Thomas Frank is absolute genius. He's fantastic and he's passionate, and he just has such a buy-in from the players. So,
Okay, so, all right. Now, in terms of our, I guess, baller of the week and bust of the week, Russ, who are you going for your baller of the week this week?
My baller is going to be the New Zealand god. I'm going to go with Chris Wood. Right? Like, I think playing against Southampton, he will absolutely love this fixture. He will get there. He'll be like, nah, this is mine. Like, don't look past him getting maybe 2 goals.
Okay.
And maybe an assist or 2.
Yep, Chris Wood. Okay, so my ball of the week, just looking at the statistics, I think it's going to be, based on this week, I'm going with Erling Haaland.
Haaland?
I think Haaland's going to be the baller of the week. Just nice and simple. I want to keep my streak rolling.
Yeah, look, like I did think about saying Haaland for ball of the week, but I'm just like, let's go left field. I love good left field.
That was me last week.
Shot, hey.
Yeah, last week was left field for me, so I'm going simple this week. Erling Haaland, and you watch, you'll probably just do okay. But in terms of your bust of the week, who are you going?
Oh, look, like I think I'm gonna go. This is gonna be a big one. I'm gonna go with Garnacho.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a very... Again, it's left field for what you would normally
Hopefully
pick
for a
bust.
Yeah.
But I think Garnacho, like, his inexperience is going to show this year. I think quite a bit with that Manchester United squad. So you look at his chance that he had on Saturday morning for us. Right? Like, how do you not just get there and tap it in with your right foot? The ball comes straight across to you, and for some reason you turn your body and you hit it with your left. I know he's a lefty, isn't he?
Who knows,
lefty
mate?
Or right?
Honestly, it was just such an easier tap in that I think even for Rashford, you look at Rashford in that situation 2 years ago, Rashford would have buried that.
100%.
He's just so down on confidence as a player, and you can tell he's not really taking his chances or wanting to just be that threat. Yep. He's trying to play as that team player now, Rashford, which is totally fine. But in that situation, he would have buried that with his right foot.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, what was it? Even Josh Xerxes after the game, he got there and he's grabbed Rashford underneath him. He's like, mate, have the shot. And Rashford's like, mate, I know. I saw him there. I saw Garnacho there. So
just played the ball, which, look, Garnacho definitely should have finished. And he only played 30 minutes, Garnacho, and he got an assist and almost had a goal.
Yeah.
So he's definitely in the action all the time, so we'll see. Yeah. In terms of my bust of the week, I'm looking at the Arsenal game, and I'm going to say that the bust is going to be Saka.
Bust is going to be Saka?
Ooh. I don't think he's going to score that well this week. I think the load is going to be shared around the team. He's obviously in the game all the time, but I think this week, I hope he proves me wrong.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. Well, a couple of things before we go. With game week this week, guys, we've got 2 red cards. So 2 people, if you do have them in your team, make sure that they are out. We've got Ashley Young. That was a definite red card. Like, I don't know what he was thinking, saying, "Oh no, it's not a red at all." What do you mean? You've literally grabbed the arm of the player and pulled him down.
It's a red card.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Fabian Schär.
Yeah. So there'll
not
be
a red
someone
card
in there that will replace him for this week. If you got Dan Burn or anything, you should be sweet. Or Livramento, you should be fine.
Yep.
I'll definitely start.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a couple there. I think looking at Pedro Porro's obviously got a bit of an injury concern. He copped a knock right at the end of the game. and he got substituted for Spence.
Yep.
So something to keep an eye out on the press conference at the end of the week if you own him.
Yep.
I wouldn't be trading him in until you hear about the press conference because
Absolutely.
he could definitely miss this game if he's copped a bad knee.
Yep. All thoughts and everything to Bentancur as well, who copped a pretty nasty head knock. Like he was out like a light.
Danilo.
Yep.
As well.
So
Huge.
I would not be playing those two as well. In
your side if you
tried. No, definitely not.
Okay, so with our over and under, it was popular last week.
Over and under.
We're definitely going to do over and under this week. So,
yes.
All right, Erling Haaland, over and under, over or under. Sorry, I'll go again, everyone. Erling Haaland, over or under, 11 points.
Going to go over.
Over.
I reckon over.
Over.
Has to be.
Definitely over. Okay, next one. We've got, let's have a look. Alrighty. Dom Solanke, over or under, 6 points.
I'm going to go over, I reckon.
I'm going over as well.
Yeah, like it's one of those ones where the more he plays with this team, the better he's going to get. Like he's just going to continue on the up.
I think he's in that central space all the time now, so it's creating them at least that option. And he's tall and he's got some good speed and good shooting. So
absolutely.
Okay, I'm looking at the next one, and then it will be where is it? Here it is. 1 second. Garnacho. Over or under 6 points?
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go under as well.
Yeah. Garnacho, again, like whether or not he starts, I think is the big thing. But again, like he'll probably get maybe like 3 points.
Well, that's it.
So.
Mo Salah, over or under 9 points against Brentford?
It's a tough one. That's tough. Damn you. I'm gonna go over. I think he's gonna continue
Again?
some good form. Yeah, because I'm fairly certain. And if someone has the access to these stats, tell me where we can get it. But for like the first 5 game weeks, I'm fairly certain Mo
he does really
average
well.
is fairly high.
Fairly high. I put a game stat in last week. If you watch the episode, he scored 5 goals in 5 games against Brentford. So
yeah.
I think he'll do fairly well. I'm going to say he's going to go under 9. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, wait and see.
And then last one, over or under for where is it? Okay, last one will be.
Got to be an Arsenal player, I reckon. Surely.
You reckon? So we got. Didn't I do Saka? No, that was my bust of the week.
That's bust of the week.
Okay, so we'll go an Arsenal one. So Saka, over or under 5 points.
I'm going to go over.
So I reckon he get an assist. I reckon I'm going to go under.
Yeah.
And Isak, over or under?
Ooh,
Against Bournemouth, over or under 6 points.
Bournemouth have Arroyo. And if they isolate him, then it'll be Joelinton or Minte probably scoring a bit. I'm actually going to go under.
Okay, I'm going over.
You going over? Was it over 6?
Over 6, yep. I think he'll get a goal. They played with 10 men, he got an assist. So
yeah, true.
I'm confident that Newcastle will take really a lot of confidence from that coming into game week 2, knowing that they defended with 10 for 70 minutes and won the game. Yep. And they salvaged the win. And I think coming into this week, hopefully they play a full squad, and they play really well. And there could be even a chance for a clean sheet.
Yeah, true.
So
just before we go as well, on to the next one, we've got a couple of transfers. So obviously we mentioned Van Linson to Bournemouth from Porto. You also got Jorginho Rota from Leeds. He's now with Brighton. So that's fairly certain Rota was a midfielder, I want to say.
Potentially.
But like Rota's very solid. Let me just have a quick check here.
Who does he play for?
Played for Leeds.
Played for Leeds?
Yeah.
There's another one that made his debut for Tottenham.
Yeah, so attacking midfield or forward. So, so for Tottenham, who was it? It was
Ray?
Odebert.
Odebert?
Odebert.
Someone played today, blonde-haired, grey, I think it
Oh
was.
yeah,
He
yeah,
came on and Archie Gray.
Archie Gray
He came on.
18 years old.
Yeah, so good on him. Look, we've obviously got some great options for young kids coming through.
Joe Felix has obviously come back to Chelsea. Ollie Skipper's gone from Spurs to Leicester, so he's rejoining Harry Winks in that midfield.
So he might be one to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely one to watch out for. So, who are you going to captain this week again?
I'm captaining Haaland this week.
Yeah.
I think he is a great captaincy option. I think along with everyone else in the FPL are probably going to captain him too.
Yep.
I'm not going to triple captain just yet. I think there's going to be a double game week at some stage. I'm just going to wait for the double game week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's a great captaincy.
Yeah. Fun fact: about 1.8 million people on FPL captained Haaland last week,
and 1.8 captained, I think. Isak.
Yep, and then 1.7 captained Salah.
Yep.
The next one was Watkins with 500k.
Wow.
500,000 of you didn't listen to our advice when we said that
Bust of the week.
it was going to be a bust. So,
it was him.
And then Saka, for some weird reason, only 280,000 people. And I'm one of those 280,000 people.
Did you captain Saka or you captain Saka instead of Salah?
Yeah, captain Saka.
Good. So look, that's our game week, guys. Game week 2. Thanks for joining us on the Down Under FPL podcast. We'll see you next week. Tune in, subscribe, and catch you later.
Yeah, feel free to comment. Feel free to send in any questions that you have for us, all right?
And follow us on TikTok. That's where all of our updates are normally posted on as well, all of our funny memes and all our shorts as well. So follow us on there. And if you've got any questions, we're pretty good with responding. So please comment and get involved in the community.
Yeah, even anything you want us to really talk about or bring up, we would love to hear some feedback from you guys. Share with your friends.
See you later, guys.
See you guys.